Can you talk about like your initial reaction to the script and your initial kind of like what brought you on board?
My initial reaction was shock. I have nothing to do with comics. I know nothing about comics. I wasn't exposed to comics as a little kid, and I didn't know what it was about. And I hadn't even heard of the Green Hornet. So it was interesting.
Like, was there a lot, after you first like read it? Was there a lot of research that you went into with all the comics, or like how else did you kind of prepare for this character?
I mean, well, I should have asked you. How would you have advised me to go about it? Where to start? No, because when you're so far behind, you try to capitalize on your ignorance.
So like, was this a lot of fun to play? I mean, I was a huge fan of you and Bastards, but like, was this like this is a different kind of villain, much different kind of a villain. So like, what was it like, kind of going from that film to this film?
Well, I mean, that's what I do for a living. To go from one to the other and try to figure what the difference is. I mean, you said it right there in the very fact that it's sort of a comic villain. There I had to play the villain, and that's fun too. In Bastards, I didn't play a villain.
So, like, can you talk a bit about some of the action in the film? Like, does your character get in a lot more of the physical side of this film?
Well, apart from racing a cement truck all over the place and being tipped over in it, and the stunts and all that, they taught me how to a few tricks in the car, and that was exciting because analog to my let's say affinity to comics was my affinity to cars. 4 wheels and a motor, that's enough for me. But in this case, they taught me, took me out on a huge parking lot in Los Angeles, and I learned to spin a car and spin it on a nickel, more or less, and the degrees of turns and and speed, and the next step would have been to actually flip it, but I don't know. They didn't want me to do it.
I've been a huge fan of Michel Gondry's for years. So, like, can you talk about like his process in directing this film, like as opposed to maybe anyone else you might have worked with in the past?
Well, this is something that I've never done before. So I have no comparison. Michel Gondry was an unusual choice for a director, and this is actually what in all seriousness, for a change, really intrigued me. And then a superhero played by Seth Rogen was the other thing that intrigued me. And the fact that these two smart cookies, Seth and Evan, wrote it and turned this superhero on his head, and have this self-indulgent wimp become a superhero. I thought that was really wonderful.
So, is there anything you talk us about? Anything you might have lined up next that you're looking to jump on board?
You mean comic-wise?
No, just new films that you're.
Well, I'm just in the middle of one, and then we see how the next one turns out, and so we go from one to the other.
Nothing concrete as of yet?
No, not right now.
So, is there anything else that you kind of? Do you like? Can you talk about your process of actually selecting like your material? Like, what kind of things do you like? Is it mainly the script, or is it just like the people around you, or is there any kind of set criteria you have?
No, I don't have a set. I don't have set criteria. I have too many of those to actually combine them into a set. So I keep it in flux in a way. In this case, it was, as I said, this combination of the unknown of Seth, Michel Gondry, and a big studio movie, and comic, a lot of stuff that I never had anything to do with.
Is there anything you can say about the film you're shooting right now?
It's Water for Elephants. It's about, diametrically opposed to this.
As was Bastards to this.
A very romantic, sad, historical melodrama in a way.